Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first and the announcement of Total War 3 Kingdoms The Furious Wild, the first expansion pass for Total War 3 Kingdoms. Did I say expansion pass? I meant expansion pack. my name is my name is Blondie. I am a content producer here at Creative Assembly, and with me today I have.
Hi, I'm David. I'm one of the designers on the Total War 3 Kingdoms team.
So, today we're going to do an overview stream, which, if you're familiar with those, good job. We've only done one of those before. But what that means is that we're going to take a look at pretty much everything that is coming in the DLC and in the free patch. But we're not going to get right into all of the gameplay. We're not going to be going into depth in pretty much anything. But instead, we're going to take that over time. The game is, of course, coming out on the 3rd of September, so we have a lot to show, and we're going to take our time for then. We of course, have our wonderful Total War partners, influencers, who are going to be showing you a lot of stuff as well, and we want to make sure that they have something to show you. All right, I'm seeing a lot of people in chat being incredibly happy with what's going on. How does it feel, David? We're finally announced.
Oh man. This is my favorite thing we've done so far. I'm very happy with it, and I'm glad that people seem to be enjoying it as well.
Fantastic. All right, so we should we get right into the game then?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, so the first thing you're gonna notice when you're booting up Three Kingdoms after this patch is that we've redone the faction selection screen. Woo!
Yeah.
You no longer have the weird categories that separate the characters. It is now much clearer to see where people are, who they belong to, and who is available to you. So we still have the timeline. You can still go to 182, 190, 194, etc., 291. Of course, Cao Cao is not playable in this date. And then we have all of the playable factions here. And if we go right here, we can see the Southern Tribes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Southern Tribes,
Um,
new in the Furious Wild.
yeah.
So,
This is my favorite way to look at the map, by the way,
yeah,
with the
yeah,
map
no,
screen itself.
it's really, really great.
Hmm.
Um, oh my God, I've forgotten something. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, David.
That's all right. Um, so yeah, guys, we have reworked this screen. We have obviously the map screen here, where you can see all of the factions and you can scroll it with the different time. But also you notice that oh, Blondie's back. So I was just about to tell him about the faction filter screen that we have at the bottom,
Oh yeah.
which I think is very convenient, which we've added in, where you can just search by name, and that instead of having to go through the menu, it's now a lot nicer to find specific characters that you want to maybe play.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
very, very nice. So you can see here, even though we're in 190, we still get Swansa up when we search for Swan, and you have all of the characters. So let's talk a little bit about the people of the Nanman, and which are, of course, the primary focus of this expansion. It's not everything that we're adding, but it is the primary thing. So, David, who are the Nanman?
So the Nanman are this cultural group that existed in the southern region of China during this period of time. They're not Han Chinese. They're a different culture group that existed sort of peacefully within the Han Empire for a long time. But then obviously with all of the tension and all the events that start happening with, the Yellow Turban Rebellion in 182, and then, Dongzhou and all of that that's happening throughout the 190s, these people start stirring and they start thinking maybe, hey, we could have our own thing then, separate from them. And they start trying to vie for that independence and for the unification of their own sort of kingdom.
So of course, this area of the map, brand new, redone, tons of new characters added and factions added in, and we have four playable characters coming with the Furious Wild. Starting off with, I saw a lot of people in chat before really hoping we would reveal Meng Wo, which there we
Yes.
have him. He would you say he's sort of historically the king of the Nanman?
Yeah. So historically, the Nanman never managed to achieve their own kingdom, but he would be the closest thing to that. He was the guy that everyone else looked to when they had problems or when they needed, help resisting the Han and so on. So he's definitely the closest thing they ever got to a king.
Uh, then of course we have. I'm gonna start off right now by saying I'm sorry for any names that we mess up here. It's just the way it's gonna be. Mandarin is a very different language to. I mean, neither of us have English as a first language, but still, it's very different
Oh yeah.
to all of our languages that we speak. Um, so we have Shamoki, which is how I'm gonna say it here, who he has a very special thing about him. So the Nanman are very different in that they are not Han Chinese, but Shamoki is the only one who.
Yeah, so Shamoke is sort of in between the Han Empire and the Nanman. He's the closest to all the other Han factions, which means that he's the only one out of all of the Nanman that can actually declare himself as the Han Emperor. He can take Emperor seats, he can unify China into his own, into himself being the Emperor, yeah.
And we'll talk more about why that's a big deal in just a
Oh, yeah.
moment. Then, of course, we have King Mulu, the shaman, who really, honestly, he prefers animals to people, is probably the best way to describe him. He's fantastic, and as you saw in the trailer, he rides an elephant, and it's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk more about elephants in just a moment. And then we have Lady Jurong, who's the faction or the faction leader that I'm most familiar with. Because if you head over to youtube.com/Total War right now, there's a Let's Play up, which is narrated by yours truly. Don't worry, I'm more eloquent when I am able to write the script. But you can check her out and all of her mechanics right there. Now, of course, so we said that Shamoki is the only one that can declare himself Han Emperor. Why is that a big deal? What is so different about the Nanman that Shamoki being able to become Emperor is a big deal?
So the Nanman peoples, they're not, as we mentioned before, they're not Han Chinese, so they don't necessarily have an investment in the conflict that exists, with the Emperor and the Three Kingdoms and all of that. What they really want is to establish their own kingdom, their own land for themselves. And so their campaign is mostly focused on them gaining independence and establishing a own solid kingdom that they can build from, which is why Shamoki being able to actually become the Han Emperor is very different for him from the other Nanman, because he's the only one that can actually try to get his own, piece of the pie from the Han Empire.
Indeed. So yeah, that of course means that the victory condition for the southern tribes is different from any other faction, which is very cool, very unique to this expansion. Now we've sat around on the main menu for quite a while. Should we jump into a save? I have quite a few here, but I'm gonna jump into I think turn 2 here. Don't worry, this is older saves, but they're still fine. I made these while the game was still in, the game is still in development. Don't worry, it's fine. But these saves were made a little while back. Of course, with the game still being in development, things might look a little bit weird. Numbers may change. It's just the way it is. So, we're now in the game. We can see very nicely that Nanman settlements have this nice border around them. I'm not gonna go too closely, but you can see a lot of new things here. And if you want to find out more about those things, like what are these icons here, You're gonna have to stay tuned. We have another stream on Thursday, and also our influencer friends are gonna be, be doing their own stuff. So, with the victory condition being different, what is the primary goal of every Nanman faction? Would you say, David?
Right. So the Nanman, the main thing you want to do as the Nanman, the tribes individually, they can't really compete with, say, a Han faction that has the backing of military tradition and empire and everything else. So what they're mainly trying to do for the first few, uh, for the first, say, half of the game or the early game, mid game of the campaign, as you can see a little bit in the top of the screen there, they're trying to unify the tribes. The Nanman are trying to prove to each other that I'm worthy of being the ruler, and they're trying to unify their entire culture under one single leader, as opposed to the various ones that we have at the beginning of the game.
Hmm. So, with that comes this screen into action, the tribal fealties. So here's where you can see where you have the fealty of each tribe. This is turn
Yeah.
two. Each tribe comes with various bonuses. I go over some of them in the Let's Play, not all of them. And if you
Hmm.
want to check that out, you go and check out the Let's Play or the coverage from our influencer friends coming soon. But yeah,
Yeah.
so
And sorry.
go ahead.
What I think is really interesting about the fealty mechanic, as we call it, is obviously as you conquer different tribes, you will gain their fealties, you'll gain their little bonuses and everything. But you can also get it from vassalization or alliances or various other means that would indicate that you're cooperating with that faction. So you can unify in various different ways, either by military power or diplomacy or
Mm.
anything like that.
I mean, of course, it is total war. So
Well, yes.
beating up everyone is a totally legitimate strategy, but it's not the only strategy.
Yeah.
And you can learn more about that in the Let's Play. Right. Let me go over my notes. I've already gone off script, but that's fine. So,
Happens.
with the Nanman comes new things. I mean, of course, this is the jungle, and things are different in the jungle than they are in the other lands. So let's take a look at the settlements. The settlements for the Nanman are a little bit different, as you can see from the icons here. David, please, what are we looking at here? What's different here?
So outside of the things that we're going to be touching on later,
Yeah.
we have brand new terrains. We have brand new settlement buildings with brand new effects, different types of towns, different types of cities, different types of buildings that you can build to get different resources and all of that. So it's a lot of really brand new content on in terms of the buildings and the structures that you can get.
Fantastic. Of course, let me see here what we have next in our list. Of course, new terrains means new battle
Hmm.
maps. We of course have new jungle battle maps which play into the Nanman traits, and all of the units coming with the Nanman are playing into that. There's also a new big thing which I believe we announced in the dev blog which came out in July. But would you do me the honor of announcing it on the stream?
Right. So we have gate settlements and gate battle maps coming in with this expansion pack, which is really
Yes,
exciting.
it's very cool. They're a lot different to sieges normally, I'd say. Um,
Hmm. It's a completely new
gate,
type of battle, and it's a completely new type of settlement that is very strategic and very important to maintain in the regions where they exist.
indeed, fantastic. All right, so let's move on. Do you want to talk about the new character class?
Oh yeah.
All right,
So
this icon is different.
yeah. So the Nanman characters don't follow the traditional that you've grown to expect from the Han characters, where you have wood and fire and water characters. Instead, you just have the Nanman class, which is their only single class, and then they have they can be upgraded in different ways. So all of the Nanman can get different skills as they level up, which will buff their different stats. And the coolest thing, I think, is their personal goals, which instead of having a skill tree like you do for the Han, where you put different points into a skill tree, instead you have to achieve gameplay things. So, for example, win a certain amount of duels in order to unlock a special skill for that character, a special buff for that character. So you're encouraged to actually go out and achieve these things and these personal goals for these characters
Yes,
to in
indeed.
order to get them to grow.
Which is really cool. It's not, get XP, click a button. It's
Mm.
do things, get cool things. Of course, we also have get XP, click a button in the
Yeah.
in the stats here. Um, right. So that is that. We of course have a new court coming with Nanman characters because it wouldn't be a new culture without a new court. So what's special about the Nanman courts?
So the Nanman Court is brand new. All of the positions are new and have different effects. The way in which you progress through the court, the way it expands, and as you progress through the game, is also slightly different from the Han. And obviously, it's a lot more focused on this kind of tribal sort of feeling as opposed to the bureaucratic kind of Han administration. It's a lot more organic and a lot more wild, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Um, then of course we have the new reform tree. We have reforms. You can
Oh
currently
yeah.
see that I'm learning the first one and wonder what that's about.
Hmm.
Hmm. So of course this is brand new here. We can, if you look very closely, you can see that we have three categories divided up here on the left, center, and right. What's new in the reform tree for the Nanman units?
So obviously, all of the techs are new and different, and they have their own unique effects. But I think the coolest part about this tech tree is that it plays into this idea of as the Nanman become more unified and they become more of a force to be reckoned with. They have to make choices
Hmm.
between embracing a more modern or more Han-like type of administration or military strategy or whatever that may be, or they can go and double down on their tradition and say that that's what really sets them apart and that's what really is going to help them win and flourish. And so you have to make that choice, and it's an exclusive choice for a lot of the techs where you either go for the modernization or for the traditional type of technology, which I think is really cool.
Indeed.
Another thing that the tech tree has is instead of just researching them one after the other, as like your traditional reform tree for your regular Han factions, for these ones you have to unlock the different techs with missions. Similar to what we were saying earlier about the characters having to complete missions to unlock skills,
Mm,
here you'll have the different missions that will unlock parts of the tech tree for you
indeed.
once they're completed.
So you have to choose what you do in the game to make sure that
Hmm.
you unlock the reforms that you want to have at any given point. Maybe you try and complete as much of them as possible immediately, so you can choose whatever you want at any given point, or maybe you plan ahead, so you go for something specific, and then you can come back and get other things later. But that's the new reform tree. It's really cool. I really enjoy playing with it when I played as Lady Jurong for the Let's Play, and I think you should
Hmm.
go and check out the Let's Play. I'm slightly biased. Of course, we have new ancillaries for Nanman characters. Um, not least of which, absolutely best of which, I'd say, is the new elephant mount. Of course, Mulu starts
Oh
with an
yeah.
elephant. And as you could see, we were taming some elephants, so maybe that would play into it. But riding an elephant is not just a cosmetic upgrade. It's not like riding a horse. What's different about riding an elephant than riding a horse?
So if you equip an elephant mount on your character, you have a completely different playstyle for that character because now they're not this quick and mobile guy on a horse that can go into a duel. They're on a big elephant, and they unlock. They can do different things. Obviously, the elephant is very good at charging into large groups of enemies, and they've got their own special elephant skills. And just in general, the play style for the elephant for that character becomes a lot more about the kind of the elephant itself and what the elephant can do with their tamer on top of them,
Hmm.
as opposed to the horse, where it's your traditional going for duels and going for individual kills and so on.
Yeah.
It's
So,
very exciting. It's really cool to see the elephants charging into battle. It's
oh yeah,
amazing,
absolutely.
and I think you
Uh,
can see that in the Let's Play, can't you?
yes.
Some elephant action in there. Yeah.
There is some elephant on human action in the Let's Play, and it is brutal. Um, it is absolutely devastating. Of course, elephants aren't the only animals living in these parts of China. We also have tigers that are part
Hmm.
of the animal handler unit, which is one of the new combat units in the expansion pack. Which some of which are unlocked through the fealty. Some are unique units that you get at the start. But if you're gonna see some battle footage coming out over the next couple of days, and I am sure there will be some tigers in there. There are different types of animal handler units. Some are melee, some are ranged, and there are some really cool stuff. Now, speaking of ranged, archers. Not a huge thing in this region of the world, is it?
No, not at all. The Nanman primarily have different types of ranged units
Hmm.
that they use. For example, instead of having a bow and arrow, someone might throw axes instead, or use a blowgun, and other different options that we
Hmm.
have that you'd have to check out. But they definitely try to. Obviously, there's one or two archer units in there, maybe, but their primary type of ranged unit is very different from what you're used to seeing from the Han.
Indeed. So really, when you're matching up Han and Nanman, you're going to see a lot of different tactics because, of course, I'd say personally at least, I use a lot of ranged units in Three
Hmm.
Kingdoms. They're a very important part of my unit or my army compositions, and when I'm playing with Nanman units, I have to really rethink how I do things because their ranged units work so differently. They're still really good. They're just very different. Um, okay, let's see. Do we have anything else cool in the unit department? Something maybe big and gray.
Oh right, yeah, okay. Um,
Do you understand where I'm going with this?
oh, I
We haven't
think I
rehearsed
understand where
this.
you're going with this. Yeah, yeah, we're a bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I understand where you're going with this. Are you talking about Mulu's units?
Yes, I'm
Or
talking about Mulu's
yes.
units.
So we have outside of just the elephant mounts for the leaders, we have war elephants
Indeed.
and elephant archers and other kinds of, or I guess that's not what they're called officially, but we have some elephant units in the game that are, like a platoon of elephants that charges
Mm.
towards the enemy in battle. And
There.
obviously they're very big and they're very scary and
Oh
they're
yeah.
quite surprisingly fast for such big creatures. But
Yeah. No, they're really awesome and really terrifying to meet in battle.
mm,
It's really hard to stop an elephant, as you might imagine. Um, all right, so those are some of the units. There are a lot of cool units, some of it
mm,
which are too hot to handle, some might say. Uh,
mm.
I hate myself.
No, it's um,
All right, if I scroll out a bit, damn it, I need to. Um, let's go back to the main menu. Let's talk a little bit about the starting positions
Mm.
um, of each of the southern tribes. Let's see. Of course, so I'd say the Nanman is about this region-ish. Would you agree?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So
Yeah.
the southeast part of China. Um, of course, we have impassable terrain here on the eastern parts, in the most jungle area. Of course, we have Lady Jurong starting far to the east. Not as far as she can go. There's one settlement to the southeast of her, but still pretty far east. So when she comes in, she's just gonna blaze a path to the west.
Blaze indeed.
Indeed, indeed. If you don't know, Lady Jurong is supposedly the descendant of the fire god Jurong. So her entire set and her mechanics sort of revolve around that and her being the descendant of the fire god. One of her unique units that she starts with is called the Followers of the Flame, and they are just as awesome as you think they are. Uh, then we have Meng Wo, King of the Nanman, or tried to be at least King of Kings.
Hmm.
He starts here a little bit more to the east.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, Minghuo is our let's say archetypal Nanman faction. He's I guess the recommended one. He's the most the one that takes the least the time to get used to because they are very different from the Han factions, and he's the one that sets the tone
mm,
for all the other ones, which are varied and unique and different as well.
yeah. Oh yeah, I said east. I meant west. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, it is West. You can just say it's because the stream screen is flipped on your side or something,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
absolutely what yeah, no, I'm watching a mirrored image. Oh, I love that neither of us picked up on that. I just said,
I trusted you. I trusted you.
oh, and I broke that trust. Then we have
No.
Mulu the Shaman, uh, um, furthest to the south of the Nanman faction. Of course,
Hmm.
his uh, his playstyle is really interesting. He has a lot of animal units to go with him, and he's quite the mystical character, I'd
Oh
say.
yeah, mystical,
Some,
spiritual,
oh yeah,
different type. Yeah.
really cool if you get his fealty as another character, and you have him within your faction. You can actually get some pretty cool events happening because the shaman is,
Mhm.
of course, doing shamanistic stuff, I guess is what you would
Oh
say.
yeah.
Um,
If you know anything about the novels, you'll know that King Mulu is described to be quite the magician and the mystic
hmm,
in those books. So you get some of those events as well.
indeed. And then lastly, for our Nanman factions, we have Shamoki here, which, like you said, he has the option of going the most Han of anyone
Yeah.
in the entire expansion pack. Um, okay, let's see. We're moving very fast on this.
Hmm.
Let's. I guess we'll talk about our free LC character next. I saw some people notice him earlier. We have Shishia. Close enough.
Xixie.
Shishia. Governor Shi. Good.
It's a good one.
It's a good name for him. He plays very differently to most other Three Kingdoms factions.
Hmm.
He's more about the diplomacy and the relationship business, similar to Tao Xian and Kong Rong, you would say.
Yeah, it's very much about diplomacy and tribute and gifts and trying to be on everybody's good side and trying to be the good stable guy that's
Hmm,
sort of trying to harmonize with everybody. But he's obviously if he smells blood and if he sees an opportunity, he'll gladly take it as well.
indeed. Let's see. I wonder if I can, because of course, the Nanman factions we have here on show are only the playable factions. I wonder if I can. That's probably too much. I'm gonna load in on turn 8 here, where I've already taken some land. I've
Hmm.
eliminated some of the tribes, but hopefully we can see more of the map here. We'll see. I haven't checked this one specifically, but we have another. What is it? Another three, four non-playable unique characters showing
Three or
up.
four? Oh, in this
Uh,
screen.
let's see, because the never mind. Um, no, it's two. Sorry, two. We of
Right.
course we have King Dwozi and King Wutugu, which are
Hmm.
of course unique characters as well. Big players. In the Let's Play, King Dwozi turned into my final boss, uh,
Oh yeah.
which
Um,
is
I think it's really interesting as you conquer the different fealties and you start gaining buffs for yourself.
mm,
Obviously, the AI will also be doing the exact same thing. So you'll
yeah.
get these big, challenging power blocks they have to compete with in order to unify the Nanman.
It's I find it to be a very different way of playing Three Kingdoms compared to playing, say, Lubu um, or playing Yembayo or Cao Cao. It's a very different experience because you're taking into consideration all the bonuses that you get from these various fealties and really trying to make yourself the most powerful by not necessarily just taking a bunch of land, but getting
Hmm.
all the fealties. And then you might go, well, if I take this guy's fealty, he has three other tribes under him. I'm gonna get a bunch of more of them. So you can sort of you can get a bunch of fealty at the same time by gaining one person's fealty, and
Yeah.
it's really cool. I said fealty a lot there. Uh,
Yeah, and you can do all sorts of sneaky strategies, like you become someone's ally, get their
mm,
fealties, and then you betray them, so you take their land as well. But after you've already gotten their buffs, and you can really play around with the way the fealties pass around between the different leaders and as they gain
mm,
their power. Yeah, I
fantastic.
think it's a really cool way to play the game. And you mentioned that it was very different from the Han,
Yeah.
and I think it is. I think that's one of the things we were trying to make with this expansion is the idea that this being a completely new culture,
Mm,
which is something we haven't done for Three Kingdoms before. Obviously, we have the bandits and the yellow turbans, but those are still Han Chinese people.
yeah.
This being something completely brand new, we really wanted to try and push it to be a very different type of gameplay with different kinds of units and different kinds of administration that you can do, and even the way you unlock the techs and the character skills is completely different. So I think it's really cool.
Indeed. Um, right. So, um, I think that's where we're gonna leave off for our stream today. Um, I know it's a short one. You guys want to see more? You should have it over to youtube.com/Total War, where you will be able to see the Let's Play for Lady Zhurong, narrated and played by yours truly. Um, Tomorrow, you're going to be able to see some really cool footage from our influencer friends, and then on Thursday, I'm going to be back with with Kunosi. I think we've called him in the past. His online
Hmm.
with Kuno and Matt, both of which have been on streams before, and we're going to be playing Mengwo. No, sorry, we're not going to be playing Mengwo. We changed. We're going to be playing Mulu, the shaman. Um,
Hmm.
so hopefully you guys will tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we're going to get some good riffing on me because I am absolutely terrible at video games in general. But man, I'm so bad at Total War. I'm a solid silver tier player. Uh,
Hey, silver tier is still pretty good.
yeah,
Most games, it's the top half. So,
well, the way I see it, it's you have like iron, bronze,
hmm.
silver, and then it's like gold, platinum, diamond, and then like grandmaster or something. So I'm in the lower half, upper lower half. No, I'd say I'm pretty average. We're probably gonna have some good riffing on me because the chat always riffs on me. I don't understand it.
Oh yeah,
I'm get so sad.
that's Twitch chat. They love doing that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. YouTube chat as well. Oh boy,
Mm.
both of y'all. Uh, no, we're not going to show any elephants today. We're not going to show any tigers. No gate battles. That will all come in due time. Remember, the game is the expansion pack is coming out on September 3rd. You can head over and pre-order it right now if you want to get a discount. I believe I should have double checked that beforehand. Let me double check that beforehand.
Mm.
Before I say something stupid.
Mm.
It's where's Steam? Oh, come on. I Google it and all I get are news articles about our cool new DLC.
Oh. You're like, I want to see what we said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see our thing. It might not be up on Steam yet. No, it is.
Is it okay if I read in the chat? Is it okay if I
Yeah,
answer a question from someone
absolutely.
about whether why they're not available in 1.8.2?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what we did with the Mandate of Heaven start position, which is the year 182, you can't start playing the Nanman. But as you play the other factions, you'll start to see that they dynamically start appearing and start fighting for supremacy in their own regions as the game progresses. So they'll start to dynamically appear and populate their own areas of the map and compete against you, maybe.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, that's why you can't play them. It's because
So I
they'll
mean,
generate. Yeah.
yeah, it's very similar to say Heji, Zhengyang, and
Hmm.
Yanbao, for example, Zhengyan, which they haven't really started yet
Yeah,
in
they're still very
182.
very small in that time, but in between that and 190, they start really shining.
Mm. So they're not available there, but they're of course available in 190 because we want everyone, no matter which DLCs they own, to be able to play all the characters that are part of DLCs. So they're available in 190 and they're available in 194. They're of course not available in 291 because they would be very dead. Or, they would be like 130,
Yeah.
something like that.
I don't know. Mulu might have made it. He's the shaman guy. He might have some
Uh,
tricks.
that's a very good point. All right, let's see. Do we have any other questions maybe that we can answer? Is there any new chapter in this DLC? No. So we're not adding any new start dates to this DLC. We're only focusing on expanding the map and expanding the things in that map, rather than spending a lot of time making sure that the entire map works in a new start date. So it's focused on the start dates we already have with those new factions. Let's see. Are there new characters? Not necessarily new factions, but new characters coming with the DLC as well, or the free patch. And I believe there is
Um,
a
I think
couple.
there is. Yeah, there's obviously you have the Nanman characters, but
Yeah.
you might get a surprise here and there.
Mm. It might
Hmm.
be some new people showing up
Hmm.
with a brand new look. Maybe even brand new characters. I don't actually know the time period and the stories well enough. Have you read Romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Me?
Yeah.
Um, Not very recently, but yes, I have.
All right. I
Uh,
I'm gonna confess. I tried reading it, and
hmm.
I mean it's a book from what, the 1400s.
Yeah, it's not
It's
very easy. There's media about it. There's like TV shows
yeah,
and podcasts and stuff where they explain it.
yeah. That
But yeah, personally, I mostly keep up to date with what's going on with the more historical documents that we have available.
mm,
So the romance novel is something that I haven't brushed up on in a little bit. But
no, but it's there are a lot of good resources to learn about. Romance of the Three Kingdoms, of course, a fictionalization of history. So
Yeah, dramatization.
yeah,
you know,
dramatization.
Some events are exaggerated or something like that, but it's still relatively accurate.
Mm. Right. So we I think that's where we end it. We've spent a fair amount of time talking about everything. We're going to be showing everything in more detail over the next coming 2 weeks, both on this channel, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/totalwar, and also via our friends on YouTube, Twitch, etc. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you on Thursday. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.
Peggy 16.
Our ancestors dreamed of peace. But all we know now is war. One day my name shall echo through these valleys. How much blood has been spent? And yet unity is still so far from reach. Are we no better than the Han? Are we as savage as they say? Without unity, we will all fall. No. No surrender! No surrender! There will be one tribe! One king!